up, my guys? We are back. This is the Juice Box. It's a big weekend here in town. We got our boy Ted McDonald back for I don't even know how many times now. It's been countless times. We'd love to have you here. And it's Kentucky Derby weekend. What's up, my guy, Ted?
What's up, dudes? Always good to be back. I think this is number 5 on the Juice Box.
See, I was going to say 6.
Well, no, it's 6 because I did one with you and Dupes.
Okay.
And that would be 6
You're
total, but this is lucky number 5. I'm the five timers club, like
Yeah,
SNL.
you are.
But on the Juice Box.
I think there's only one other in the Five Timers Club, and that's Uncle AJ.
Yeah, but he's definitely done it more than Uncle AJ now.
I was going to say,
I'm telling you,
I
neck and neck.
think AJ only has 4 times.
Oh, shit.
Fucking loser.
Ted's got the number 1 spot.
Bro, you need like an employee of the month plaque.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guest of the month.
I
Just
talked
hanging on
about
the
getting
wall.
like 5 timers T-shirts or like a plaque or something.
All right,
It'd be
word.
dope.
Dude,
I'm with it.
I might be having deja vu, but I literally feel like we had this exact same conversation the last time you were here, and that was 5.
Yeah, because it was the I Came 5 Times club.
Yeah. So this
Yeah,
is number 6.
That is
yeah.
it. You're right.
Oh.
It was the I Came 5
I knew I
Times.
was
I
right.
wasn't here for your last Juice Box episode.
No,
I had COVID.
that's right.
I
and
saw
then,
you in Morgantown, and we talked. I was like so hyped, and then I got COVID.
Yeah, okay, I remember that because I was coming home to do that, and then the next time I came, we didn't do Juice Box because you weren't here. I didn't do the pod with you, and then I just did it with yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know where
I
you
forget
were.
what it was.
I
You're
don't
right.
know.
But
I was
I can't
when
remember.
Was that? I was home February, and I was home for my pops. So yeah, that was like January, February.
You're 100% right. I just can't remember what was happening.
Yeah, why weren't you here?
I don't
fucker?
know.
Were you in North Carolina?
No. He's right. Like, there was...
But you and I went and saw a movie.
Well,
We had a little date.
I didn't
Yeah,
even
we went to
get-
see Jackass.
Went and saw Jackass. I rewatched it again like 3 days ago. Way better the second time. I don't know why.
the newest one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Which
It's
It's
awesome.
wasn't the premise of the last movie that it was the last hurrah, and then they just signed a show with Paramount Plus that they're doing a Paramount Plus show?
But it's like a spin-off, so I think it's the new Jackass movie, to be honest, like Knoxville and Steve-O and the regular guys, they don't do a lot.
Okay.
The one who does a lot is Danger Aaron. He still gets shat on. But they have a bunch of new guys
Yeah.
like Jasper from Loiter Squad and Odd Future. They're doing a spin-off with them. I was reading about it as well. They're doing a spin-off, I'm assuming, with those guys, and then maybe Knoxville and those guys will make appearances.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
introduced the
It's
new
basically like
group in the
ushering the new era.
Yeah,
of
one of the guys'
Jackass.
names is Poopies.
Poopy.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Poopies.
He was funny. He
Yeah.
got shat on,
Dude,
too.
how do you think that feels for them though? Like, it's like creating an entire dynasty, and then now you're just like turning around. You're like, all right, boys, you're carrying the name. It's got
Yeah.
to be kind of a weird feeling, even though they'll be involved. But like you just said, I haven't watched the new movie, and I guess I didn't realize that they didn't do like as many stunts as they used to.
I mean,
do.
they still did. Like Knoxville still had a bull stunt. It was
Yeah.
actually like his worst bull stunt in terms of like how injured he got. And then Steve-O got a concussion in one. Dave England didn't really do a lot, but Danger Aaron, he did the new cup test.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, bro!
Fuck that.
I saw.
I was getting
I saw the.
that
preview.
was so
That was, dude.
Painful.
It was hard to watch.
Yeah, it was
because the
very
first thing
painful.
they ever did for Jackass was the cup test. They had Johnny Knoxville wear a cup, and they had like kids kick him in the balls. They had somebody drop a baseball from the top of a roof onto the cup.
Yeah.
This one was he took a full punch from Francis
Ngannou,
Ngannou, whatever.
What?
No.
Yeah, bro.
like
Like he
full
did a
swing
full
right to the
backswing,
nuts.
like you could hear something crack. It was
Yeah.
so bad.
It was bad.
The world's
How
fastest.
Did any of these dudes ever have
The world's
kids?
Yeah.
fastest softball pitcher.
Yeah.
Threw a pitch
It-
at
it
him.
was-
PK Subban did a slap shot at his nuts.
Yeah, it was bad.
Jesus
I gotta
Christ.
do it. Slap shot,
No, no, no.
regatta.
No.
That makes me sick. That makes me sick
And
to think
but
about.
to be honest, all the ones he named weren't, in my opinion, weren't even the worst one. The pogo stick
Oh,
one.
dude, he had one of the guys jump on a pogo
stick on his nuts.
To his
Oh
nuts. Yeah.
no, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not
I'm
watching.
convinced he doesn't actually have nuts under there.
Yeah, how can you do that?
It's just
That-
a shtick.
Dude,
I'm
it
with
was
you,
rough.
dude.
Was it a
He
shtick?
had his nuts removed years ago due to the actual trauma,
Hey.
and now they just playing it off.
Hey Knoxville, show us your sack, dude. Let's see if it's there. You know.
dude.
That
I've
I
said
have
it before.
PTSD watching.
And I'm gonna say it again. Like, it's cool they're ushering in this new era of Jackass guys, but I'm like real excited for the day that like a hardcore, in-depth Jackass documentary.
Yeah,
comes out.
documentary.
Dude,
Like
yes.
starting from the beginning and how like the crew came together with like Bam's CKY crew and everybody, up to this point.
Because you got to assume with all those shows they have to have just years of footage. Just
Oh,
laying
dude, there's
around.
probably so much
100%.
stuff in the archives. Dude, every time they make a Jackass movie, they release a 0.5 version
Dude,
after.
And so
True.
I was watching an interview with Preston and Wee Man. Preston's like the fat one. Preston didn't do shit in this movie.
Damn.
Wee Man did a little bit. Preston was just kind of there.
Yeah.
But he did an interview saying that this was the first time, because they had 0.5s and the other ones, you're right,
Mhm.
this was the first time where they actually showed the cut to all the cast. One was the regular one and one was the 0.5, and they said they didn't care which one was theatrical.
released.
They said they were
Yeah.
both so good that it really didn't matter.
That's
0.5 one's coming out on Netflix.
Dude, yeah, I
in a
saw
couple
that.
weeks,
I
which would be
always
great.
thought all the 0.5s were good.
Yeah, 2.5 is the best.
That-
Well,
that-
2's the best one.
Two is yes, thank you.
So
Two
like
is
2,
the best one.
2 and 2.
Purely
it makes
for
sense.
the riot control test.
That's one of my favorite
Unbelievable.
skits.
So
that
good.
That kind of shocks me that it's going to Netflix though, because Paramount Plus just like acquired the whole Jackass catalog.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
I as much as I love the stunts, I've really, really loved their pranks, dude. And,
Dude.
and 2 has some of the best pranks, like
Dude.
where where they get. I think it's 2 where they convince what's his face. I think it's Danger Aaron. He comes walking in with a whole tray of soup.
That's 3.
Is that 3?
That's 3, and
And he gets smacked by the
that's
hand.
3. But two's the one where they prank Aaron
Oh,
with the terror
God.
taxi, where they make him dress up like a
yes,
terrorist,
that's like the final.
and the beard is
yeah.
pubes.
Yep.
Some guy
that
at
one.
crabs,
and
like,
and
yeah.
also on 2 where they put the love letter on the wall
yeah,
and there's the punch thing
Dude,
behind
yeah.
it. Love that.
That to me is like top 3.
That's a top one.
yeah for me
Because it's so funny how they get Wee Man. They put a fucking chair under it, and he climbs up on the chair to read it and
Yeah.
falls for
And
that.
Bam's just in the back laughing,
Just-
like,
yeah,
why is
like,
there a chair in the hallway?
He's hysterically laughing.
Dude, the one in the new one, I think it was the Aaron guy with the grizzly bear. What's the most terrifying
What
thing I've
the
ever
fuck?
watched?
Yeah, dude.
They tied he was tied to a chair, and they put honey or something
honey,
on,
and then they put pieces of salmon
on
him, and then they released
and then they just let in a grizzly bear into the room.
to
What?
eat it off of him. While also he's wearing a dog collar.
Dude, it
So
was.
while he's trying to be still, they'll shock him, and so he's like.
I was so
shocked.
scared.
There's a-
I was
there's a bear,
terrified.
like a
I was
Wait.
like, "This is insane."
so like they just
Literally.
Awful.
assume that the bear wouldn't eat him.
yeah,
So I rewatched it. There's a point after like it gets to like the climax. The bear's like trainer is on the other side of the door, and they cut to him, and he goes, "I need to go in. I need to go in." And then he goes in and like puts a chain around the bear and like drags it out.
Fuck.
dude, like
Dude,
just
fuck
a wild
that,
ass
man.
bear.
That's a no for me.
Yeah,
Big no.
Facts.
Big no.
I was just so my Explore feed now is a lot of just animal videos because I just have been watching a lot of shit. And I watched this video of this couple. Probably there was like 5 or 6 people. They were taking a hike, probably somewhere out west. Obviously, they were just on a trail, and the biggest grizzly bear that I've ever seen in like a human video that's not a documentary just walks right by them on the trail, and they are just like all froze, like, all right, just keep going. And this bear just fucking walks by, turns around, looks at him, and walks back out of the frame.
dude.
I don't know how you don't shit your
Yeah.
pants.
I
when
would
that
have taken
happens.
off.
Did you
in the
guys ever
opposite
watch
direction.
that
Me too.
documentary on Netflix? I can't remember what it's called. Where obviously this dude was crazy. He was one of those like real big nature like hippie guys.
Grizzly man.
Yeah,
Where he went out and just lived in the forest.
yeah, and then he ended up dying.
he ended up getting
Is
just
he the
straight
one
up
that got eaten?
eaten by a
By-
grizzly bear.
I hate to laugh, but you have it coming.
He
dude.
did. But
I mean-
there were a lot of cool footage like of him dead ass just chilling with animals, but like you had it coming to you
yeah,
eventually.
that's like an iconic
Na-
documentary.
yeah.
Yeah,
Nature's gonna get you after a
nature
while.
always wins.
Yeah.
There's that that you and I watched, that White Wolf documentary on Nat
Yeah,
Geo,
very cool.
where the guy goes up in Canada where people aren't, so
Yeah.
wolves aren't used to seeing people and seeing them as threats.
Yeah.
And he just follows them throughout the journey. And then the very end, like he's shooting a shot looking for him, and all of a sudden they just like roll up on him.
But not in like a I'm gonna eat you type of way.
They-
More of like they're just like they're all circled around him, just kind of intrigued.
You-
what
you
like
could
what
tell that
it
was
is,
the
what it
first-
is.
That was
myself.
you
Yeah.
could tell that was the first time those wolves have ever seen a human in their life.
Yeah,
like,
it was cool.
They walked up to him, and then one comes, and like then he freezes, and then all of a sudden, like the other 5 just start walking around him, and then he goes like, "All right, guys, like get away, like get out of here." He starts panicking. Obviously,
It's crazy how like dedicated those Explorer guys are,
Some
because
people just have a death wish.
dude, the guy's ass out like exploring wolves, which is sweet. Wolves are awesome. But you're like in that moment, like of the documentary, he could 100% easily just died and gotten eaten.
Fuck that. That gives
Crazy.
me anxiety. Like, did you
Yeah.
ever see Free Solo?
I haven't watched that. It's on. What's that on? Is that on Disney Plus?
I don't know if
Yeah,
I
it is.
should.
It is. I refuse to watch it. I watched it once and I will never watch it again. It's just some dude climbing like a fucking mountain with no ropes, or he's
Oh.
not chained in anything. He's just doing it free
Whoa.
solo.
And isn't it like days too? Like it takes
No,
him
it
days?
takes him like 30 minutes.
Oh, really?
You might be thinking of the Dawn Wall.
I'm not sure.
The Dawn Wall is another doc that's really cool. They try to freehand climb like the hardest peak in Yellowstone, but they're strapped in, but they're doing it like free-handed, so if they fall off, they're like connected to a rope and they just kind of swing.
Gotcha.
But they live on the rock for like 3 weeks until they get to the top.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude, they just sleep in a tent that's attached to the fucking mountain. You wake up, look down, it's like 20,000 feet below. Just fucking.
Yeah, I don't
Dude.
do that. The whole climbing thing.
Yeah, no, I don't fuck with
Not
heights, bro.
me.
I don't fuck with. I hate flying.
Same.
Like, bro, I
Yeah.
take Valium when I fly. It's the
Well, I don't
best.
take Valium, but I take Xanax.
I'd take alcohol when I fly.
yeah, all that stuff, all that shit's so weird to me because that 13 Peaks documentary just came out. Like it's like the exact same thing, and it makes me laugh because those type of people, I literally can say that I am just missing a gene or something inside of my body that they have. Like you could never, ever be like, hey, Jake, if you walk to the top of this mountain, you can have infinite. I'm not doing it. I'd be like, sorry, dude. I'm not like, I'm just not going to get up and climb this. What happens if you're on the side and you have to start shitting or pissing?
Yeah, it reminds me of that. You know what movie I watched a couple days ago? I haven't seen it in a while. I watched Triple Frontier again.
Oh yeah, I love that.
They
movie.
have to scale
Great
and get over
cast.
onto the other side of the big mountain
Yeah.
range. When they're on that like old smuggler's trail,
Mhm.
like that's the type of stuff where I'd like curl up in a ball.
Yeah.
I wouldn't walk it. I
Bro,
couldn't.
I
I
get-
physically couldn't.
I get anxious.
I'd literally.
I get anxious when I'm like running at yellow. If I'm driving,
yeah.
I'm like, oh fuck. Can't be too careful.
Dude, I used to be scared walking through the pig path in the dark.
Well, that's scary.
What the fuck's the pig path?
And what's
What?
you know the
Come on,
pig,
the
pig path.
You've had to watch You've had to have walked the pig path.
Where-
It
where
takes
is
Takes
it?
you
Dale.
from
Oh,
like,
is it over by the Alpha?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
takes you
I did
across.
Dude,
over
I
on the-
remember as a kid, like, just it was ingrained in my mind. Like, boys, do not walk on the pig path. I thought, like, if I walked on the pig path, I was getting like raped.
It's
me
like
and-
the Silk Road or something.
Yeah.
Me and JT's
Seriously.
mom, Karen, lover, would let us do anything except walk through the
Like
pig path.
ingrained in my. And I remember the one time, like the first time we walked the pig path, it was during the day. I was like, dude, I'm a fucking badass. I'll never forget because like that was just it was weird. Like one of those things because
How old were you?
I don't know, probably in 7th or 8th grade.
Oh,
or
so you like
something.
went home, got
Like,
like a juice box, and you were like, "Fuck."
Yeah, I was like, dude, I'm fucking sick.
I get so much pussy.
Yeah.
Where,
literally.
where'd the name come from? I've walked to clarify. I've walked the pig path like a handful of times at night,
So-
and it's
At
scary.
night.
it is. So literally,
I've walked in the day several times.
not to be a smart ass answer, but like it literally used to just be a path back in the day where they would walk pigs back and forth, is what my mom told us.
Really?
So
That
I
makes
don't know.
sense.
Makes
I mean,
sense.
like where the old farmers used to that's where they would train their pigs.
I'll
That's
meet
where
you
they
at
would
the
walk.
path.
They did find a body on the pig path a few years ago.
They did?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
dude.
remember that. Yeah.
Whoa.
Supposedly,
Yeah.
that's where the pig battle started. The Hatfields and McCoys
Yeah.
family feud.
Supposedly.
All the way up north.
Yep, all the way up north and Wheeling.
Dude, so what the hell what have you been up to? I mean,
Dude, not much, man. I've been just I've just been, trying to get some work here and there. I'm still like working on some scripts. So I was I was home in January, but then when I went back, I worked for a month and a half on I told you guys about this. I was working on Doug Ellen's new show, the guy
That's
from
sick.
Entourage. It was dope. I got to hang out with like Drama and
You know
E.
what's cool? Not to interrupt you. I've followed their Victory podcast
Yeah.
before. Like I don't listen to it. Just on Instagram, I follow them.
Yeah.
Before you started working with them, and they always post like updates on it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Ted is here with these people right now.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I
Dude,
think every
it
time.
was cool. Honestly, seeing them, it was like I wasn't necessarily starstruck,
Oh, I
almost
would be.
because I was working. So Kevin Connolly has in real life owns a podcast studio. It's where they do the Victory podcast and some other ones, and that's where our office was when we were doing work. So I was doing like production coordinator stuff. So I was helping out with like gathering. You have to get certificates of insurance when you rent from places. So if you rent from like a camera shop, you need to have insurance. Your production has to have insurance for them. So like getting a car, you need to have insurance or whatever. So I was doing that, and our office was their production office. We also filmed in there for like a week, which was cool. But when I was in there just doing work, like Kevin Connolly's just walking around, and he'd come in and be like, "What's up, man?" I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And like that, so that was cool. And then Kevin Dillon didn't come until like 2 days before shooting, and he is, dude, it's like Drama in real life. He's
Really?
the same fucking person.
That is awesome.
But the one that really got to me was, well, first off, there was a ton of celebrities in the show coming up, and yeah, okay, whatever. Like
You're like, should I
one
say
day,
this?
one day. So I started as the script coordinator. So they would send me the scripts, and I had to like make edits from what they wanted, and then I'd send it out to everybody. I was doing that for like a week and a half, and then I had to come home. And so I gave that job to my roommate, my roommate was Doug Ellen's assistant on the set. And then so I left, but then when I came back, I started working directly with the producers. And so that's where I was doing like certificates of insurance and like other stuff for them. And so I was able to like see who all was in it. And this was funny. So in one of the first drafts they had, Nicolas Cage was in it.
Fuck.
He was in
Whoa.
like one scene and he had like 3 lines. And this is just a story I'll have forever. It's a funny like Hollywood story. When you send out a script, you have to send it out watermarked with their name. So if I send you a script, it'll be watermarked Zarly.
Right.
And I had to send it out to Nick Cage. And my producer gave me his email. He was like, "Hey, like, send it out to him and put his name on it." I sent it out to him, and then that night I was like in bed at like midnight, and I get a call from my producer, and he calls me. He goes, "Bro, you fucked up." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "You spelled Nick Cage's name wrong."
Oh
damn.
no!
Nick Cage spells his name N-I-C,
Yeah.
not N-I-C-K. So I put the K in there. But
Fuck.
what didn't throw me off was that's how the writers had it in the script. They had his name as N-I-C-K, Cage. And so I just looked at that and I put it on, not realizing it. And basically, because I was script coordinator, it was my job to know that they were wrong. And I just didn't, because I was like, well, they're the writers. This is fucking Doug Ellen. I'm sure he knows Nick Cage. So I didn't think anything of it. And I guess like Nick Cage's people were like pissed.
Oh,
or
my
Oh
something.
my
God.
god.
But he didn't end up being in the show. I don't think it wasn't because of me.
It's
but-
because of you.
It's 'cause of you,
yeah,
dude.
there's some, but yeah, that's why my roommates are fucking with me all the time. They're like, "Bro, well, Nick Cage hates you, dude." So there was that. But
Dude.
we had a table read, and that's when all the actors come together and they read the script before we start shooting. And we did it at one of the producers, his mansion in Encino. Holy fuck! It was like the first time I'd been in like a straight up like Hollywood mansion. Like,
Dude, so what's that like? Like, what's it like when you roll up to just a mansion and you're just walking through it? Because in my head, I'd be like, I'm not supposed to be
well,
here
okay,
right now.
so his guest house
Guest house, what a prick.
is like 2 times the size of this house. His
Fuck.
guest house.
Damn, that's
I walked up
crazy.
and I saw that and I'm like, oh wow. And then you realize that there's a whole other fucking building next to me, and I'm like, oh, that's what that is. But you walk in, dude, it's nuts. It just like screams wealth. It's like
Do you walk in and like the ceilings are real high and it's got like 2 staircases going up?
I felt so poor.
Yeah, dude.
It was awful.
Feel that, bro.
And then like, dude, like we were walking through the kitchen, like that's where we were setting up. We shot there actually one day too, and like his whole kitchen was like organized like beautifully, and I was like, dude, I literally feel like the biggest piece of shit. I should not be allowed in here. But it was such a nice place, and he was cool, and his wife was cool, and that's where we had our table read. He had a big lawn in the back, and so we set up tables. And so last like October, I signed up to do COVID compliance. You become a certified COVID compliance officer. Pretty much on set, there's somebody who's like, hey, just like monitoring COVID protocols, like wearing masks. It's the easiest job in the world. And so I signed up to do that when I was just looking for like part-time shit. And so the producer knew I was COVID compliant, and I get there on the table read that day, and I was told by my boss, he was like, hey, you're going to read a couple lines of like just like random people who have one lines, which was sick, just sitting around a bunch of all these actors. And then when I get there, my producer's like, hey, you're going to do COVID compliance when everybody gets here, so you're going to test everybody. And so I set up like a small station, and then I had to physically like give COVID tests to all these celebrities walking in.
That's
Whoa.
wild.
So the first people came in were like Connolly and Drama, and they all like knew me like somewhat, and I would like talk to them. And then the one where I actually like froze and like didn't know what to do for like 5 seconds was Charlie Sheen.
I knew you were gonna say
Charlie Sheen rolled up, and I was like, I need you to stick this in your nose. And I was just
Dude,
like, I
that's
could make a
crazy.
cocaine joke right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, but so he, dude, it's everyone was like, how was Charlie Sheen? I hear he's crazy. 5 years sober, vegan, just the nicest guy. There were a couple times where it was just him and I in the room, and he was always open for conversations. Couldn't have been cooler. He was great. Did you guys ever watch Scrubs?
I know what you're
It's
talking
been,
about.
it's been a long time.
John
but
C. McGinley. He was one of the older doctors. You'd know him if you saw his face. He's in the show. He was in Platoon as well. And
Wait, is he in Wild Hogs?
yes,
Yeah.
he's the weird cop who
Yeah.
gets naked.
Yeah.
Yeah. John C. McGinley. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that guy.
He's
This
funny.
guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know this
yeah.
guy.
So he's in it, and he rolls up, bro. This dude rolls up in like sandals and a hoodie, and he's like, "I'm John C. McGinley," and I was like, "I know exactly who you are, sir." So that was cool, and then and then this was cool. One day we weren't sure if we were gonna get him, and then he showed up one day. Was Mark Cuban,
Whoa,
that's
that would have been
sick.
cool.
dude? He's 6'3",
what?
6'4". He's
I knew-
tall.
I figured he was
I
a
saw
bigger
him and I was
guy.
like, no way, Mark Cuban's that tall. And then I thought about when you only see him, A, he's sitting down on
Sure.
Shark Tank, and B, he's at the Mavs games standing next to 6'8", 6'7". It doesn't really matter, but
Very
he's
true.
a tall guy. Also, couldn't have been any nicer. Coolest dude.
Yeah, he does just from Shark Tank, but he
Yeah.
seems like a cool dude.
Jamie Lynn Sigler was in it, the chick from The Sopranos,
No
who was
way.
Turtle's
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
She has a quick like 3 scenes. She was great, sweetest woman.
Dang.
Yeah, all around like that was such a really really cool project. And
So he
getting
got
to
a
know
lot
those
of
guys.
people that he worked with in Entourage.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
pretty much like it's kind of like a realistic approach. Like, so Kevin Connolly owns the podcast studio, and in the show, Kevin Connolly plays himself, and he is unlike in real life. In the show, his podcast studio is losing a ton of money, so they're trying to acquire like a marquee name to start a podcast that will bring attention and bring viewers. And so Kevin Connolly decides to hit up his old friend Kevin Dillon, and who knows Charlie Sheen because they were both in Platoon together. And so Kevin Connolly basically asked Kevin Dillon to help him persuade Charlie Sheen to start a podcast. And that's what the whole pilot was just them trying to get Charlie Sheen to do the podcast. But yeah, it was really funny. I got to see it cut. It was cool.
That's awesome.
Really, really
I
cool.
like the premise.
It's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, my roommate who was working on it with me, he got to be in it. He was like, hey, we need people in the background. It's like him and like 4 other people in this like one shot, which is really cool. Do you guys watch What We Do in the Shadows, the show?
No.
I know what show you're talking about, but I never watched it.
There's
no.
one of the main guys from there. He's in it for like a brief moment. He was funny. But yeah, that was like what I was doing for the most part.
Isn't the main character in that show Taco from The League?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh damn, I'm thinking of something else. Then.
Yeah. But yeah, so we did that. I was doing that for like 2 months, which was dope. And then just last weekend, I got to work on a set for the movie. It's coming out. It's called The Menu. It's with Ray Fiennes, the guy who played Voldemort. And
Oh, that's cool.
Anya Taylor-Joy from Queen's Gambit.
What?
Yeah. So we were doing additional photography. The show or the movie's about I don't really know kind of what it's about. It's pretty much about this like couple, Anya Taylor-Joy and Nicolas Holt,
I know that name.
the guy who played Beast in the newer X-Men.
Yep, I know.
Oh,
exactly.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
so-
plays in that zombie movie.
Yeah. Warm Bodies, right?
Yeah, Warm Bodies.
So he and her are dating, and then they go to this like island where a lucrative chef has like a prestigious restaurant that only like a select few people can go to, and they go to the restaurant and I guess like shit just hits the fan. It's like a black comedy, but like pretty dark as well. And so what we were doing is we were shooting additional photography, which was literally like close-ups of food. Like they remade every meal that they made in the movie and then like did like super, super close-ups of like the dish being like slid onto a table and stuff like that. But I got to meet the director, and his name's Mark Mylod. Coolest fucking dude maybe on planet Earth. He directed like 10 episodes of Game of Thrones.
Oh,
A
folks.
fuck ton of Shameless. His most recent thing he's done is
I'm in a shameless watch right now.
he
Go on.
he also he's done like 4 episodes each season of Succession, which
Okay.
is right now I think the best show on television is Succession. But he couldn't have been cooler, and talked to him for a little bit. He's from England.
Don't you just love a nice, rich, famous guy, and he's just cool as
Dude,
fuck?
honestly, you wouldn't even know
Isn't
that
that
he was just
awesome?
like running the show, because he
Yeah.
was also they hired a food director, some guy who like is literally his job is to like direct food being shot, and so
Damn.
they brought him on.
Gotta
He's like,
make sure it
dude,
doesn't run away.
I
and
guess
shit.
he was like a fucking legend. Like when he showed up on set, I'm close friends with the assistant director, and when he showed up, my assistant director friend was like, "Oh my god, Jeff, it's so nice to meet you." Like I can't tell you, it's so.
I
so
just
great
love
to
how
meet
you be directing food
and
and shit.
all this stuff. Yeah, it's straight up. But so talking to the actual director, Mark, we were just shooting shit, and like literally these like it's just how it is. Like networking is your biggest friend in like this industry, and just by me talking to him and just like casually chatting up about things, he was like, "Hey man, you want to watch the trailer? It's not out for like a couple months." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." So I got to see like a first like cut of the trailer. It's like 2.5 minutes, but
That's
it
sick.
looked wicked, and I was like, "Oh, this looks way cooler than what I expected it to be."
So when you're in this table read atmosphere, I'm backing up now.
Oh yeah.
Is that like a very serious, nerve-wracking thing? Is it kind of like loosey goosey? It probably all depends, I imagine. But
I guess so. Like because I had lines, I was like, "Don't fuck up the lines.
Yeah.
Don't miss the lines." Like I read for like Handyman #1 and a character's named Tony. Like all these guys had like one lines, but when you start, literally it was like this. If this is how it was. I was like on the corner. You were the director. You were a producer, and there's like 3 other producers. You go around the room. It's like, "Hi, I'm this.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
this. I'm this." Then it gets to me. It's like, "I'm Ted. I'm reading for Handyman #1." and then next to me is like, "I'm Jamie Lynn Sigler." Round of applause. I was like, I didn't fucking get that, motherfuckers.
Dude,
Whatever.
that
But
is
then,
awesome.
then they got to Charlie Sheen, and he was like, "I'm Charlie Sheen, and I'm reading for Charlie motherfucking Sheen." Everyone like went nuts, and so seeing that was like really, really,
That is really
really,
cool.
really cool. That was like the coolest thing.
Yeah.
I think a lot. I mean, I have to like all of this is definitely due to like my good friend Gary B. Goldman, shout out. He was like there from like the start of Entourage. He's like one of the best, if not the best, assistant director working in the game. He's no bullshit, but he was like the guy who really got me to move out to LA. And he was also he went to college with my dad. So he's been wonderful. And then after my dad passed, he's been like, "Yo, like I want you like under my wing and stuff." And so he hit me up and was just like, "Hey, you're working tomorrow." And I'm like, "Okay."
that's
And stuff like
fire.
that. So he's
That's
been great. And he's made it his goal to like introduce me to people and like network and stuff. And so like yeah, it's just me hanging out, not doing anything. He's like, "Hey, come meet the director." It's like I'm a fucking set PA right now while I'm like working on like other scripts and stuff. But yeah, and then you don't want to be like, "Hey, can I send you my script?" How many
Yeah.
times people
yeah.
say that? and
You
shit?
want to
But
be cool.
but it's way better, 10 times better when a like well-known person in the industry is like, "Hey, this kid's a writer. You should read his stuff. It's really good."
Yeah.
And that like opens up
For
different,
sure.
different doors and stuff. So
That's awesome.
yeah, shout out to fucking Gary. He's the man.
Shout out Gary. Sounds like a great guy.
Oh, he's the boy. He's dude. Yeah, we like smoke weed and shit.
Oh,
Hell
fuck
yeah.
Yeah, he was like my dad's age, so he's like 58 and stuff. So
So when you're in a room with Charlie Sheen, do you just try to make a conversation like normal and personable, or is like the first thing you want to do just ask him about like past things? he's done?
So the first time I met him was when I gave him a COVID test, and then he had to get set up. So it was kind of like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Ted. Can you do this? Whatever." And we kind of did some like back and forth for like 30 seconds, and then that was that. But then there were other times when it was like, "Hey, go ask Charlie Sheen what kind of coffee he wants."
That'd be so crazy.
And then you walk in, you're like, "Hey, like Mr. Sheen, what do you want?" And then from there it just like blossomed. Like I asked him one day for what kind of coffee he wanted, and then we ended up talking about cars for like 5 minutes.
That's sick.
And then I was like in my head, I'm like, I gotta go get this coffee run, but also I'm talking to Charlie Sheen. I'm
Yeah.
not fuck the coffee.
Yeah,
Like, I want to pick his brain. Like,
For real.
but so yeah, he was great. I
Dude,
think that's a cool.
It's
thing
so
about it.
funny that we're having this conversation because we had this kind of same thing last week or 2 weeks ago where I was saying if I met someone of that caliber, I never have, but me personally, I feel like I would like freeze. I would just look at them.
So
Like-
I've seen a
Yeah.
fuckload of stars
yeah,
out there. Like I've been there for 8 months. Like Florence Pugh, Zach Braff, all the guys I just
Yeah.
worked with, Charlie Sheen,
What up,
Mark
Flo?
yeah,
Cuban. Yeah, all these people. Jesse J. Who did I see? I saw Sam Smith at dinner, the singer.
No way.
Yeah, I was at a Chinese
Dude, he's
restaurant and he
famous
was
as
like
folk.
leaving with some dude. He was great, but I think I told you. I don't know if I told you. The one I've only been so far physically starstruck where I legitimately froze and like almost had a panic attack was so one of my roles on this shoot was we shot on film. When you shoot on film, you have to go take it to a film lab to get developed every night. And the first night I did it, it was the first day shooting, and my producer came over to me and was like, hey, you're dropping the film off. And I was like, fuck this. I'd drive all the way to Burbank, and I was just like, I just want to go home. I
God
had like
dang,
a 13,
Burbank.
14-hour day. So I drove to this film lab, and I'm in there, and I'm dropping off the film. When you walk into the film lab, to the left is the counter where you drop off all the film. That's where they develop it. To the right is a theater where people, like directors, will come in and watch their
Wait,
footage.
you did tell me this.
And first night I'm there, I walk in and I set my shit down and I'm exhausted, absolutely exhausted. I can barely stand. And I just turn around while the guy's like marking off all the reels we have. And I turn around, walking inside is Christopher Nolan.
Oh, damn, that's sick.
Dark Knight, Inception,
Bro.
Interstellar. I shat myself.
Yeah.
I literally looked, turned around to the guy working. I was like, is that Christopher Nolan? And he goes, yeah, he just finished his first week on his new movie. He's watching dailies with his wife. And I was like, and I don't know if it was raw emotion and exhaustion combination. I needed to do something. So I turned around, and as he's like checking in to go into the theater, I shouted across the room. I said, I love you, Mr. Nolan. And like put my fucking like tail between my legs and shit. And then he turns around and he goes, thanks. And then walks inside. Greatest moment of my life.
That- yeah,
Like
see-
by
yeah.
far coolest moment of my life.
It's even cooler that he answered.
Yo, yeah.
Agreed.
And then
he wasn't a dick about it.
No, he was
Yeah.
cool. He was like, hey, thanks, mate.
I love that.
And then as I'm walking out, you guys probably won't know who this is, but his director of photography on like his last 5 movies, Hoytze von Hoytzma,
What a name.
walked. Yeah,
What a
right.
name.
Yeah, he walks in, and I this was one where I was already just jazzed about seeing Nolan. He
Yeah.
walks in, and I was like, and Nolan was like 20 feet away. This dude, Hoytze, was like me and you right here. As I'm walking out, he's walking in like through the doors, and I said, "You're Hoytze," and he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Big fan." He goes, "Thanks, dude. I'm actually about to go watch stuff with Chris." I'm like, "You get to call him Chris? That's so cool, dude." Yeah, and then I saw him again, Nolan, the next day.
Whoa.
I was pulling out of my car, and then this big black SUV Suburban rolls up, and I couldn't move until they moved. And then out comes the car is Nolan and his wife going to watch dailies again.
Bro.
Do you like
That-
roll the window down? You're like, hey, man, love you
Dude,
again.
I almost did, but if I saw him again, I was gonna ask him for like a photo or like
Yeah.
an autograph
Yeah.
or something.
That-
That was where I was like, third time I have to.
That leads into like a nice hypothetical question. Who is that guy for all of you guys? Like he said,
So even for me, like Nolan is just like as a
Yeah.
filmmaker, he's like one of the best.
yeah,
But in my head, he probably wouldn't be.
you're number one.
No,
Okay, so who would be your number
yeah,
one?
who
then?
would be? Yeah, that's a.
I have 2 where I'd actually physically think I'd faint or
Okay.
like be starstruck enough to where I'd go up and like want to like shake their hand and
Yeah.
just like talk to him. It would be Steven Spielberg
Okay.
for sure. He's like my idol, and then Seth Rogen for sure.
Whoa, yeah.
Because
That's good, man.
I want to. My goal is to do kind of what Rogan does because he writes, acts, but he also produces a
Yeah.
fuckload. And so I think that one I would lose my shit
Yeah,
for sure.
I'll go.
Yeah.
So obvious, my number one answer is very obvious for me was Matthew McConaughey. Just a big McConaughey fan.
That'd be awesome, dude.
Love him.
That'd be so
Seems
dope.
like a great down to earth
Hell
guy.
yeah!
Like,
I don't
he'd
know
be
a
like,
person
hey,
who doesn't like.
he'd be
Matthew
like,
McConaughey.
"Hey, what's
Right.
up, man?" Like, yeah. And I feel like he would just talk to you.
Yeah.
And then the other guy's not an actor; he's a musician. I would say Kenny Chesney. I would just like look at him and be like, "This is insane." Just because, I grew up like that was what I
Yeah.
forever. We
Dude,
listened to Kenny Chesney, and
yeah,
if I
that'd
saw
be
him
sick.
like across from me like this, I would like probably just pass out or like black. I'd probably black out. I'd probably not remember what I said to him, honestly.
Dude, it's weird. Like
Yeah.
you see some, it's like a good like 5 seconds to be like, yeah, okay, this is
Yeah.
fucking happening.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, I had that when we
weird.
went to their fucking hockey tournament for Barstool.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had that with some of those guys.
the
Like,
Barstool guys,
yeah, like I saw John Feidelberg, watched KFC radio, especially during like peak COVID time when we just didn't leave the house. Watched KFC radio on TV all the time, and then I see Feidelberg in person. I'm just like, this is fucking crazy. Like it was insane.
He was
to me.
probably the coolest. out
Yeah,
of
he
all of
was
them.
cool.
He was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
who'd be your pick?
I'm gonna try to keep it towards the film industry since you're here.
Sure.
I'm not gonna talk about athletics
Oh,
or
dude,
anything like
if I
that.
saw Tom Brady, I'd suck his dick.
I'm right there with you, honestly.
I'd be like, yo, let me just.
him, Sidney Crosby. But
Yeah.
I'll keep it towards the film industry. I'm a big Adam Sandler fan. I've
Dude,
said that
that's a
100
good one.
times.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like him, Ben Affleck would be a big one for me. I like all the shit he does.
Yeah, dude, Ben Affleck is. People love Ben Affleck or they hate Ben Affleck. I know a lot
I'm
of
a
my
big-
friends
Yeah,
that do
fan.
not like
I
Ben
love-
Affleck,
I
and I'm
don't
like,
know-
bro,
Well,
why?
I get the
I
hate.
guess I
Why?
don't know how he is in his personal life.
Dude, he
you know,
just dated Ana de Armas and he's getting married to J Lo.
Yeah,
the
everyone,
dude's winning.
Yeah, everyone has their shit.
The dude
Yeah,
is
he
winning
may have
in
been a
life.
dick or whatever in his past relationships or whatever, but
He's
it's Ben Affleck.
He's winning so much in
Right?
life that he can pull off the dragon back tattoo,
That
and nobody
thing's
just like.
atrocious.
Well, I
bro.
like the guys like you said that will act and like write their stuff or
Mhm.
direct.
That is-
I know he
yeah.
does that.
That's a
Sandler,
bro,
good
yeah,
point.
The Town is one
the
of my
Town's,
favorite movies.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Town.
an all-time movie.
Yeah,
I've gotten.
how about of all time?
I like Guy Ritchie's movies.
Yeah. Did you see The Gentleman?
I was gonna
I-
go home and watch that
I
literally
just
tonight.
watched it the other day.
For the first
I-
time?
No. I've seen it
Yeah.
so many
Dude,
times.
it's on Netflix.
I
Yeah,
know,
it just
yeah.
got put on Netflix.
John
so
was
good.
telling me about it
I
yesterday.
just watched it the other day as well.
And you'll love it because you love McConaughey.
Dude, I know, and
Dude,
Jax
McConaughey is a fucking badass.
Jax
He is.
Teller's in it too,
and
right?
he's also a badass.
Yeah,
They're the
so,
two
like,
best characters for
Dude,
sure.
fuck yeah. Another one
It's
I thought
very
of
good.
too. This is fucking mainstream as fuck, but Leo. If I saw
Yeah, of
Leo,
course.
I
You
would
want-
like
dude,
die.
You know who Leo's childhood best friend is?
Toby
Toby.
Maguire.
Conley.
Kevin Connolly.
Really?
Oh, I
And
thought it was
Toby. They're,
Toby.
they're
Yeah.
the three of them.
I
They're
don't
the
know.
Pussy Patrol, dude. They're the Pussy
I
Patrol.
remember that.
I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know
So,
that
yeah,
about-
Kevin dude, they actually in the script
That's
they
cool.
actually mentioned because Connolly in the show or in the pilot he talks about how he needs money, he needs a guest, and his wife in real life, who's also his wife in the show, says, "Why don't you ask your like best friend?" And he doesn't say Leo, but he says like, "Yeah, I'll ask him to stop saving the oceans to come record a podcast." They reference him, but Kevin Connolly's also known for like never like bringing Leo to the office or doing whatever. Their friendship is like very, very private because Leo's a very private person.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing Leo would be fucking crazy.
Crazy, right?
Holy
It'd be like
shit.
you wouldn't believe
It'd be
it.
that one would
Yeah.
be fucked.
Yeah.
That would be fucked.
Do you have anybody else?
Dude, there's so many.
Dude,
I like.
I'm going down a rabbit hole. in my mind
If we're
now.
talking directors, dude, like I love Tarantino's movies.
He's a weird fuck. He's around, bro.
I know he's a weird guy.
He owns a theater in LA like a mile away from me, and they only show movies on film.
Mhm.
And
I thought you were gonna say they only play Tarantino movies. I was like,
well,
that's sick.
Well, no, they so they do like movies on film. Like they just had they showed like they had a James Bond week where it was like Skyfall, Casino Royale, all on film. But then once a month they'll show a Tarantino movie, and it always says like Kill Bill, Tarantino's personal copy, like playing there.
That's
And
Whoa.
the theater only plays movies on film. And if you
Whoa.
guys ever get a chance to go to a theater where they're playing something on film, I highly recommend it. It's just it looks different, but it's a very like it's such an awesome experience to see them on film. Like I was lucky enough. We had a lot of film prints when I was in college, and we had a bunch of theaters where like I got to see The Godfather on film,
Whoa.
Jaws on film, The Exorcist director's cut on film was fucking crazy.
It'd probably feel like I'm trying to
It's
think
got
of
the
the word.
graininess.
yeah, you
in
see
it.
the grainy
Yeah.
texture,
So-
but it also looks like
so,
it looks
like,
beautiful.
I like hearing that stuff and like reading. I know Tarantino's kind of a weird guy, but I've read a lot of stuff about him. And when he was like nerding out about Hateful Eight,
Mhm.
and he said he found like this camera lens or something to use to film that movie that was like super old. like over 50 years old.
So
And you can see the graininess in that movie, dude, if you've ever seen it.
So most people
Obviously,
shoot
you've probably seen
on
it.
most people who do shoot film shoot on 35, and that's what we shot the pilot on. That's very common. But what Tarantino is referring to, I think, is he shot his on 70. And so when you shoot something on 70, you take 35 millimeter and you literally turn it on its side so it's longer.
Oh, yeah,
you have
yeah.
like a real long
Oh.
shot, like I don't know, like the black bars are kind
Yeah.
of
Like a
instead of like
widescreen.
necessarily on the side, it's
Yeah.
on the top, so it's
Oh,
just like
yeah.
landscape shots that
yeah,
are
yeah.
crazy. So he did that.
That's cool.
Yeah. The wildest like camera thing that I remember from college was I took a Stanley Kubrick class. He did The Shining and Full Metal Jacket. When he did a movie called Barry Lyndon, he wanted to shoot a movie. So this movie was like olden days, like I don't even know what to like describe it as, like Gilded Age stuff, like Bridgerton-esque, like they're in castles, they're princesses and shit like that. But he wanted every shot to look like a painting, and it does. It's truly remarkable. Every shot looks like a painting. But there is one scene he did where the entire scene is lit by candlelight.
Whoa.
Now, that is physically impossible. There's things with cameras called f-stops, and f-stops are like the lower the number is how little light basically you're letting into the lens. The higher the number, the more. So like when you're shooting the sun, you will have it like all the way up, and when you're shooting like darkness, you have it all the way down, and to get let in as much light as possible. But the lowest f-stop on a normal camera is 2. Stanley Kubrick, to film these candlelight scenes, he bought a camera from NASA.
What?
And literally had it like manufactured onto a camera, and that f-stop was like 0.008.
What?
Whoa.
But the thing was, they said, we can make this camera for you, but once you use it, you can never use it again because the lens will be like, you can't unmove the lens, like that's it. And he was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So those lenses
Sick.
are in a museum, and they were literally used just to shoot like this candlelight scene. It was
I can't
fucking nuts.
in it in the money that probably costs for one scene.
Yeah. Let's get.
That's really, really cool though.
Yeah.
I didn't. I
No,
want to
no,
know
No,
your people.
Good.
I
Yeah.
wanna know
Who's
your people.
Who's your peeps?
Mine, I mean, I could think of a lot of entertainers, but I think just to like sit down and talk to somebody, it'd probably be Stephen King because I'm like a huge Stephen King fan.
Dude,
Read a bunch of his
do
books.
you know what he does for filmmakers? Is he writes a fuckload of short stories, like 2 to 3 pages, that he just does on his
and
own.
for like $1,
He
right?
sells them for $1 for
yeah.
kids who want to buy them. You can purchase the rights for $1. Whereas,
Yeah.
like
That's cool.
when I bought the
That's
the
really cool.
memoir with my other roommates, we paid the guy like $10,000, and Stephen King sells them for like $1. He's the boy, dude. People forget Shawshank Redemption
Yeah.
was purchased for like $3.
Whoa.
What? I didn't know that.
Shawshank
but
was a short
then-
story.
Like if I would have another one of like a similar status, it'd probably be like old rockers, like Paul McCartney. I mean, I just like seeing him,
yeah, I
like
would
all
love
the
to
stuff
Seeing
he's
Paul
done.
would be sick, dude.
It'd be unbelievable.
Yeah. So like for me, actual starstruck, like walking in rooms not knowing what to say. The runner up would definitely be Brad Pitt.
Ooh.
Like if I walked into a room and saw Brad Pitt, and I'm not even like I watch movies that he's in, but I don't like watch every Brad Pitt movie. He's
Yeah.
just like one of those like mesmerizing, gorgeous fucking people that I would see. I wouldn't know what to say. And then my all time, dude, if I walked in a room and fucking Robert Downey Jr.
I knew that was gonna be your number
RDJ.
one.
Oh, dude! If
Yeah.
he was anywhere around me, I would like
Yeah.
panic. I would want to talk to him, but I just wouldn't know what to say to him because he's just incredible to me.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a fucking legend, man.
Dang, that's a good one.
That is a
So
good one.
I gotta ask you because we only talked about it, and we all saw it together. Me and you only talked about it a little bit over text. What did you think of the Batman when we went to go see it again?
Oh yeah. So now I can say
Yeah,
it.
now you
yeah.
can talk.
Because so I came in November for, was it Thanksgiving? I don't know when I came.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
One
but
of the
I got
times.
to see the Batman in October,
Yeah,
and it was like a random, like I got a link on my Instagram that said, "Hey, come see a new movie from Warner Brothers," and I was like, "This is bullshit." Signed up, and then I got an email. I was like, "Hey, come to the Warner Brothers lot on this day at this time. Bring your ID." And then my roommate and I were like, "All right, let's go." And we went with another friend of ours. We get there, and first thing they say is, "Go put your phone and anything electronic wise in your car, like right now." And we were like, "Oh, okay." We had to go in. We had to sign NDAs, a bunch of NDAs to not say anything. We had to fill out like COVID forms and everything. And then they took us in groups of like 10, and they walked us through the Warner Brothers lot. So I passed like big sound stages. And
So
what's cool about Warner Brothers is on every sound stage, there's a giant plaque that says like Friends was filmed from 1994 to 2004. This was filmed here. This, and like each studio has like 20 of them on there. And then if you keep walking through, you pass this like grass area, and it was the Friends couch from their opening and stuff. So I thought that was cool. And then we turn the corner, and it's a city. It's like a fake city that they film in all the time for like sitcoms and shit, or just movies in general. And in the distance is a box office, like a theater with like the letters out front of what movie's playing. And we walk up, and it says Dune. And this was like a week before Dune was coming out. And we were like, oh, we get to see Dune like a week early. That's cool. We were like stoked anyway. Actually, no, we were kind of bummed because we had already bought our tickets to Dune.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
were like, we were like, bro, this is
What the
fucked.
fuck? Yeah.
This is dumb.
I need a refund.
Yeah. So we get in there, and we walk in, and it's one of the theaters that so when you walk in, there's two sections. There's a part up top, and then there's a part in the bottom, and then in the middle are like two chairs, and then in between the two chairs is a phone, and that's where the director sits. So if you ever go to a movie again, the best place to sit in a movie is in the middle row in the middle, because that is where all the acoustics are lined up. That's also where the director sits when he's editing.
Good to know.
So
Good to
so
know.
the phone is there when he's watching the cut. He calls up to the editor and says, "Hey, change this or do this, or it's loud on the left, not on the right. Like fix that." And so that's where we do it. And then we were in this theater, no popcorn, no drinks, nothing. We all took edibles.
Nice.
We didn't know what was going on.
Nice.
And we get in there. We sat there for an hour, waiting for people to keep piling in. I'm starving at this point because we thought we were getting food. So I'm like high, starving, didn't know what was going on. An executive walks up, and he's in a suit, and he goes, "Thank you all for coming. Obviously, this is a very high-profile situation, so you all need to really reinforce the NDAs that you signed." And we were all like, "Okay, what?" And he gets up there, and he's like, "You guys are the first crowd in the world to see the Batman." And the theater erupted. 10 times bigger than No Way Home. I jumped out of my seat and high-fived strangers. it was fucking crazy. My roommate, we were going buck wild. And then he was like, also, okay, so you're going to watch this, whatever. He goes, it's not done. Now, by that, it was like there were a couple things like CGI-wise that weren't like finished. One of them being like the wingsuit. When he flies off, there was like one little shot of CG that they did that just like it literally looked like a Pixar movie. It was like animated. That's how you build animations with visual effects. So it looked like that. It was like 3 seconds, and that was that. And then a couple shots of that in the car chase. But besides that, everything was the same. But it was weird when it started. The first minute was the audio wasn't synced. And so it was like mouths were moving, but the audio wasn't lined up. And we were like, oh my God, fuck, 3 hours of this. Well, we didn't know how long it was either.
Yeah.
And then they started it over. They said, sorry, we have to sync the audio. Sorry. And then we started it over. And at that point, there was so much adrenaline going through me that I didn't have it. I didn't care that I was hungry anymore. And it was, it was 3 hours. And we were like, okay, and then afterwards, they gave us a tablet. There was like a little iPad underneath our seat, and we had to fill out a questionnaire that took like 30 minutes.
Jeez.
It was, what did you think of this? What did you think of this character? And it was like Batman, and then there was like 20 questions just on that. What did you think of Catwoman? What movies did this remind you of? Like, it was like balls to the wall. They wanted to get all information, and so I liked it. I liked it a lot. I did have some issues, and after seeing it in October, I was like, okay, it's 3 hours. Usually when you see a rough cut, you're going to cut it down. And so we were like, okay, 3 hours, that means it's probably going to be like 2.5, which is great. And then come January, they were like, Batman, it's going to be a 3-hour movie. And I was like, what? They didn't cut shit. So that's where I was kind of like, okay. My biggest problem with it was, and this is just like my opinion, once the Riddler gets caught, I felt it kind of went like, downhill a little bit. I did not like at all. I thought the shit where Batman goes to like the arena that's flooding and he has to fight like 20 Riddlers. I thought that came out of nowhere when that just kind of threw me off. And that was really the only thing that really fucked like with me. Like I thought Robert Pattinson was amazing. I thought it was the best Catwoman we've ever seen. And cinematography was great. Music was great. I thought the first hour of that movie was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I thought that was like, this is a perfect movie so far.
Same kind of thing with me.
And then
I thought
they
started to drag it on. And I
at
was
the
like,
end, I was
it
like,
could have been over literally like 25
it did
minutes
not
ago.
need to be. It did not need to be 3 hours.
Yeah.
It could have been like 2.5.
My favorite scene, I loved the fucking Batmobile jumping through the fire scene when the Penguin's car flipped or whatever.
Yeah.
That whole scene was fucking
Dude,
sick.
the when that Batmobile started up, that sequence.
Yeah.
Another thing was like it felt like a regular premiere too, because people were cheering throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of times when when that Batmobile started, it erupted.
Yeah.
So when you saw it for the first time, was that Joker scene in the movie that
No.
okay, so that was
not in the movie. That was the only scene that I did not see was the Joker.
okay.
scene.
Was the music done? Like the Nirvana song was in it?
Yep.
That's
Everything
cool.
was in it. I see. My thing is, I loved the score. The bum 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 bum. I loved that. I felt he used it too much. It was in every fucking scene.
True.
It was in literally every scene, which is like it's a great score. But by the end, I'm like, yep, it's the Batman theme.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Whereas like if you look at like the Dark Knight for comparison, like they had similar like scores, but it was different. Or like the Joker had one where it was like that high pitched ring that would just kind of like build and build and build, and then you had like the actual like trumpet like the end with the Dark Knight. So like he had variation, but I didn't feel like there was a lot of that in the Batman, which I wanted more of. But yeah, I mean, I like again, I like really liked it. My roommate did not. My roommate was not happy. He was like me with the ending times like 10. He was like I thought that was like mid. Whereas I liked it a lot.
Mid.
Like he for instance, we saw it in October. I said I was like, I'm going to see it when it comes out again. And he was like, I won't. I'll wait till it's on HBO.
I think this is one of those instances because we know it's going to be probably at least a trilogy.
Dude,
where
they're doing spin-offs on shows
and
shit.
shows and stuff
It's going to be
like the Batverse
They
that they're going to make.
They just announced Batman 2.
I think I saw that. I think it's going to be one of these instances where after it's all said and done, people's opinions might change, if that makes sense. Like they'll look back on it as a collective. I agree. I agree with the problems of the first movie, like with the length and some stuff being drawn out. But at the same time, I try to look at it in a bigger picture where like this might, like it's a good like starting off point to build the world.
Yeah, I think like like I said, I think it's a great movie.
Because
I really do.
I think truly it's the best looking Gotham that we've got.
And that's what I said.
There are certain things about it. Like I remember seeing something that was like, this was a really good Batman, but like Christian Bale had a better Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like this Gotham was like really good Gotham. Whereas Gotham in The Dark Knight felt like New York.
Yeah.
It wasn't like dark and gritty.
Yeah, like it didn't.
No, it was dark and gritty in Batman Begins.
Dude,
It was,
we
so
talked
that's
about
exactly
the same
what we
exact thing,
said.
Yeah.
We said out of the Dark Knight trilogy, Gotham and Batman Begins has the
because
most
it was real
Gotham
dark and
feel.
gloomy and shit, and then Dark Knight Rises and Dark Knight. It was just like all this.
Now
is New York.
I don't think. Like I think every movie in the Dark Knight trilogy is better than the Batman. I think that. I think Begins. I mean, Dark Knight's like untouchable. But that was one thing that's pissed me off was after I saw that movie, or after I saw the Batman in October, one thing that went through my head was like, people are going to suck this off.
Yeah.
I knew that. I was like, I can already see it now. Which is better, the Dark Knight or the Batman? I'm like, you can't even fucking touch that, man.
And
like,
I get tired of that always having to compare because
it sucks.
It's all over. You're probably on the same side of TikTok as me with movies and shit. Like it's always that. Which is better? Which Spider-Man is the best?
It doesn't matter.
Like,
they're
shit.
different. They're both different. Like let it go.
Yeah.
But I also look at going off of your point and how like over time we'll look at it differently. I think people have a lot of different opinions towards the prequel trilogy of Star Wars after we got the newest trilogy.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Right? You look back and you're like, hey, I like those.
But bro, that's the same
if you're
thing.
like me, you always like
No, the prequels, I've loved them forever. My entire life.
Like, growing up and like you've seen the Darth Maul fight and the speed racer.
It's like the coolest thing
Attack
ever.
of the Clones is still literal dog shit, but
I still love it.
Revenge.
So many lightsabers.
That's movie I can't like.
The fucking
Attack of the Clones
attack
is so
on
bad.
The battle on Geonosis. Are you kidding me? With all the lightsabers and all the fucking.
I mean, that's okay, but
clones rolling
Revenge
in
of the
and
Sith
shit.
though is unbelievable. The last hour.
Still
of
like
Revenge
my
of the Sith.
favorite movie. Fucking ever.
That's
it's
not
funny
Star Wars.
because like
What'd you say?
Rogue One's the best Star Wars. Sorry.
Rogue One. I
love
I
Rogue
agree
One.
with that.
Thank you.
Movie wise, yeah, it's the best Star
Facts.
Wars content probably.
Ah.
I would.
Dude, I have so many.
It's
people
very
that say
it's
this to
very
me.
well made.
Yeah, it's a
You know
great
what I mean?
movie.
Like it really captured the aesthetic of that like time period, like the original trilogy.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
But I think it's funny when you could like go across the trilogy. It's so funny how the gears just shifted to Star Wars. all
Dude,
of a
let's
sudden.
fucking. I don't care.
Like
Whatever.
Oh,
the
Obi-Wan.
original trilogy, the prequel trilogy had great ending movies. I am sorry, but like the final one in the sequel trilogy is fucking dog shit.
Oh, it's
Terrible.
garbage.
Dude,
They had
it's so
they had
bad.
so many. They had a great.
It's so
they had
bad.
great ideas that they could have expanded on. That it just became fucking.
and
dog
and
shit.
it's so weird because I remember when we were all in theaters watching it.
Oh,
And like
God.
I was glued to the screen. I remember being like, "Man, the action and stuff."
Yeah.
But then, like when I was processing it in the car on the way home, I
That-
was like, "That wasn't good,
Bro, that happens to me.
Yo, that one, dude. I've been there
That-
where I
you know
watch
what I
movies
mean?
and I'm like, I want to
That-
say something good about it, but like, fuck that.
That's
movie.
me, like literally. Even like on both sides. Like, yeah, there's instances where I'm like, I fucking love this and I'm always gonna love it. But there's times where I leave and I'm like, I don't realize till the next day if I like liked it or I didn't like it.
right?" And I think
And
with
I
that
felt the
movie,
same way with Rise. You talking about Rise?
yeah,
of
Rise of
Skywalker?
Skywalker.
Yeah, I was like, I was glued to it too, watching. I was like, damn, this is intense with all this shit going on. And then like after, I was like, I don't know, like Ray and Kylo Ren kissed and shit. I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
Nah.
What is
See,
this about?
I think
Fuck that.
I think that feeling that I'm talking about though, where like I think it speaks to like the casting. I think they did a good job, like with the actors they chose and stuff. It was just the material was just not good. It was doomed
Yeah.
from the beginning, not being a whole cohesive.
Yeah, I
trilogy.
thought remember reading something. They were just kind of going with it as they went on. They didn't
It's
have anything
exactly-
planned out. Which
Yeah.
is
Dude,
fucking. You
and-
don't do that with the most beloved franchise
Exactly,
of
that's what I mean,
all
like-
time.
Like you buy
you ain't just throwing up shots.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
buy
seriously.
Lucasfilms for billions. You know you're gonna continue this beloved story,
They straight up
and
pulled
you're
a-
just not gonna
yeah.
have a plan for it.
they
But see,
pulled a
that-
Fast and Furious with the sequel trilogy.
But yeah, that
How about the director leaving?
yeah,
right?
Dude, he was like held hostage in that Vin Diesel.
Good on
video.
him.
Fuck
though.
Vin Diesel,
Good
dude.
on him, dude.
But-
I think he's delusional now. Vin Diesel, crazy.
yeah, he thinks he's making
Paul
like,
Walker's
very good
rolling over
movies.
in his grave.
Seriously.
Yeah, but that's what's weird about like the Star Wars stuff because then you have a guy and Kevin Feige who just went to a meeting or something this week or last week where they have the MCU planned out until 2032 right now.
Sounds about right.
But
Yeah.
but how do you not do that when you are thinking of Star Wars?
Yeah.
I think they are at that point now. Star Wars. I think they realized how hard they dropped the
I,
ball.
I
Oh,
just
yeah.
mean like before,
Then, yeah,
like,
you're
like
right.
when you
Dude,
acquire it, and
you
you're
read-
gonna bring it back.
Yeah.
You have to have
you
some. kind
you
of
read
plan.
all this stuff that like there's conspiracy theories that like the Mandalorian is literally made to correct everything.
And who's on fucking charge of that? John
Yep.
Favreau. The
Dude,
goat.
the
Like,
goat,
like
literally
that-
the
that's
goat.
The
literally
goat.
what
Don't fuck with him.
what most people say is by the time the Mandalorian is all said and done, its main purpose was to correct the movies and like make things a little bit more cohesive than
Good.
they ended
I
up
mean,
being.
dude, the end of season 2 when Luke shows up is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Wait, did you see Doctor Strange with them
No,
yesterday? Fuck,
no,
okay,
I
'cause
did.
We can't talk about what we saw before the movie.
What? Which one?
Avatar
Yo,
2.
dude. Yes, we
yeah.
can.
Avatar 2 trailer, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Oh fuck! I
Shit
hate my
was
life
crazy.
so much.
My theater went dead silent.
No, that's how it was
As
with
soon
us.
as that
it was
we
quiet.
saw like
yeah.
the water, we were
Yeah.
like, everyone in the theater was like,
So-
oh, Avatar.
So can I say
well,
something?
like we knew, like we all knew that was gonna be
yeah.
playing
Yeah.
before it.
Yeah,
that
so
was announced.
I have a question. I just want
I don't care. I'll just preface.
I can't even spoil it.
No,
I really
no,
can't.
no, go ahead. I really don't care.
I need to
No,
watch it
I really
again.
don't care.
There's
I-
it's really
I need to watch it
there's
again.
nothing that actually happens in it.
It's
It's just
dude,
the visual. It's
yeah,
just the
Dude, the
It's
visuals.
just
first minute and a
visuals.
half is
Yeah.
all music and showing shots
Visuals, yeah.
of like them swimming and
Dude, I can't
I mean,
fucking wait
riding
for
the-
Avatar
it
2.
looks
Say
so
whatever you
good.
want. I had a mishap happen yesterday that caused me to miss out on it, and I told myself last night. I said, you know what? Just deal with the spoilers. I'm not going to ruin this episode. All of it needs to be talked about. So just
well,
go
wait,
on and
so
do
because-
your
wait,
thing,
because
boys.
you're saying this, did I tell you guys about my James Bond story
No.
when I went
No.
and saw James Bond about what happened to me? So
No.
I feel
Which
your
the
pain.
most
can't
recent?
remember.
Yeah, No Time to Die. I definitely may have
think you
told
probably
on the
did,
side
yeah.
or
What
whatever.
what happened?
So my roommates and I, we all go to No Time to Die in like the opening weekend, and we get in there, we sit down, and I leave to go get popcorn and go to the bathroom, and also an alcoholic drink. And
They serve alcohol at the
they had a
theater?
bar. They had a bar.
Oh,
Fucking
come
bro.
on.
Dude,
You
we're in
suck.
West Virginia and we don't have that. What?
Dude, it's great. Getting like, especially if you're not driving, just get fucking
Yeah.
get me a double. Let's run it. Or what we do is we'll get what I do with my friends sometimes. There's a theater nearby we can walk to. Is we'll bring shooters. We'll buy a soda and then just
You know what
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
said? I guess it could ruin the illusion real quick. Sorry, I'm interrupting. I said it on the pod before. I would love in this case where they had like a fucking intermission, so you don't miss any part of it. You get up and pee, get another drink, come back.
It depends on the length.
Yeah.
I would
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Like if it was like a 3-hour movie for sure.
Yeah.
But
Quick interjection because you talked about alcohol.
I gotta pee.
When we went to see, it was me, Gaff, and Jacko. We went to see. I think it was Rogue One. It was one of the Star Wars movies.
I know
Anyway,
exactly. This story's
anyway,
great.
we get into the theater. We sit down in our seats. Preview start playing. And Alden looks at me. He's like, "Dude, like, we need to get some alcohol." I'm like, "We're in the fucking theater." He's like, "No, dude, we need like we smoked. We got super high on the
Yeah.
way." And he's like, "No, we got to keep the buzz going." I was like, "What do you want to do?" He's like, "Let's just run to the gas station real quick." I was like, "The previews are playing." We literally walked out the fucking door.
what theater?
The mall, Ohio Valley Mall.
Oh, geez.
We walked out the door next to the screen, hopped in my car, went and got a couple 40s, walked back in with them all in our pants, and the people were looking at us like, didn't these guys already walk in? We just walked right by them, went back to the theater, and yeah, we had 40s during the whole movie.
Dude, that's fucking awesome. That's so good.
But like so pointless, you know, in the grand scheme of things. And I can remember one of the previews that was playing at the time was for Zootopia.
oh yeah.
And it was the scene where the sloth is like in the store or whatever.
DMV,
And
yeah.
the DMV going so slow. And I was so baked and drunk. I was in tears laughing so hard at that preview.
Dude, oh my god.
All right, but continue. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, okay. So went and saw the movie. I left and got popcorn. Went to the bathroom, got a drink, and I walked back in, and my roommates are like frozen with pure like shock. And I was like, "What's going on?" And they were like, "Dude, Daniel Craig just walked out and thanked everybody for coming to the movie during like COVID and shit. Like thanked
missed
everybody
it.
for coming. He was with Rami Malek too."
Oh my god.
And he like thanked everybody, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna stay for like a couple minutes, but thanks for coming out." And they spoke for like a minute and then left. And then they were like, "Dude, literally, you like they walked out and you walked in." And so they literally told me that. I like found out about it, and then the lights went down and the movie started. There were no trailers.
And they weren't pranking you.
No. And then I said shut the fuck up, and they were like, "Bro, check your Snapchat." And they took videos and sent it in like a group chat. And dude, so I had to hear that I missed one of like my favorite like characters in Daniel Craig playing Bond. And they told me that, and the movie started. For the first 30 minutes, I was like, "Don't fucking talk to me."
I would have been.
Damn.
I would have.
It was a miserable experience.
I would have been
great
very,
movie, great
very
movie.
distracted from the movie and very salty.
Oh, I was very, very salty. I did not speak like the rest of the night. I went home and like started like just drinking by myself.
Well, at least you got to see the movie.
Well, yeah, the movie was
Yeah.
cool, but then I told them, I was like, I think we're all square now. Once I saw Nolan and they didn't, they were
Yeah,
they
there
were
you
they were
go.
bummed about that. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, we're even now,
That's fair.
motherfuckers.
That's fair.
There you go. Well, so I want to ask one question that we
Sure.
talked about. So going back to the Batman and that Joker scene that came out. So if it wasn't in the original cut, do you think that's, and I know this is so hard to answer, the generic answer is like, well, yeah, it brings hype to the next movie. But do you think that's kind of like they filmed that knowing that they weren't going to put it in the movie and they eventually were going to drop it after? Or how does that process work? Is that something
Yo,
that's filmed?
I completely forgot about that. So, this is kind of uncommon that that the studio and like the director released a scene that was maybe supposed to be in the movie, but that wasn't in the movie. They just dropped it afterwards for like shits and gigs. That never happens.
I found that extremely odd for that
No,
reason.
yeah, that never happens, which in the long run is good because it's almost like their way of doing an end credit scene.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Like MCU, but they didn't do it. Now, I will say I was completely forgot about what you were talking about. So the scene in the movie, it's the Riddler talking to the Joker.
Yes.
And you don't see the Joker like ever. And then they released the scene where it's like one-on-one where you see the Joker a little bit more. But yeah, the one where it's Riddler and Joker, that just wasn't in it.
Oh,
Huh.
that one wasn't.
that
No,
wasn't
that
either.
that's what I was talking about. That wasn't in it. That wasn't in
Oh.
the cut I
Oh,
saw in
wow.
October. Because when I
Dang.
saw that in March, I was like, oh, this is new.
Yeah.
I saw it with my buddy who didn't see it with us, and I was like, everything so far is the exact same. That was one thing that was, I guess, different. I was waiting to see what they would do to change. Seeing some stuff with, like not CG or not like animated because it wasn't finished. Like, and it was weird. It literally like it would show something, and then on the bottom of the screen, it would say like in text, "Batman wingsuit." Like that's what would pop up. And they would do that. And so all that was out, which was like cool to see.
Because I thought it was weird because, of course, you have the internet breaking that whole scene down. And that is a giant scene because the Joker does take that paper clip off of that file and like puts it in his pocket or whatever. That's huge.
Yeah.
And you know
is
that's
cool.
going to be a thing, like maybe how he gets out of the cell or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
that's why I was just shocked about that. And now even reassuring that wasn't even a part of the original thing
No.
that you saw.
It really wasn't. And
That's
I also I would say I really like Barry Keoghan.
Dude,
who's
I
playing.
love him
So
as
I'm
the
I'm excited
Joker.
to see him as that. And
I'm
also like I
excited,
think
too.
again, people are gonna try and compare. Just don't
Can't.
touch Heath. You just can't.
I think this dude's gonna look like the most gruesome Joker.
Yeah, already his
Dude,
face
his
is already
face
figgity
is
fucked up. But see, I'm interested because he doesn't have any face paint on.
Paint on exactly.
He was just like
yeah.
cut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So
True.
Yeah, I think he has the
I'm
potential to
curious.
look fucking cool.
Yeah.
I liked Joaquin's Joker, just like a standalone. I thought that movie was fucking dope. And then Jared Leto's a fucking piece of shit. So
Sucks, dude.
did you see Morbius?
No.
No, I
That's
refuse-
crazy.
I
We didn't
refuse
even
to
see
it.
it.
Yeah, I
I
didn't even
I heard
see
it's
it. I
fucking
do.
bad.
I do love on TikTok how they're calling it like the greatest movie ever as like a running joke.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, I did not pay to see
Well, I
that.
was gonna go see it, but it's coming out on like you can get it on Apple TV and stuff
Like,
in a
very
couple
soon.
weeks.
Yo,
So-
y'all gotta go see Everything Everywhere all
Dude,
at once.
I've been hearing so many things about it on TikTok.
The most original movie I've ever seen in my life.
What's it called?
Everything Everywhere all at once.
All right,
It's fucking wild.
I like the movies.
heard it
I'll
was
go.
good.
It's like it's about like the multiverse. And I can't even describe it. Like not because I'm trying to
It's in
spoil
theaters
anything.
right now.
Yeah, it should be. It did. If you right now, I would say, dude, most people are putting the Batman up there, but I think so far it's the best movie of the year.
I've seen that too.
Do you think this
I haven't
is,
seen it, but
do
I've
you
heard
think
that.
this is them just prepping us in real life that the multiverse is an actual thing?
Well, dude,
because if
what-
you think about all the things that are coming out, you just saying that it's
Yeah.
like, why is this a
Well,
thing?
one thing that's really sticking with me, and this is a Doctor Strange spoiler, so to speak. Well, he travels to like the multiverse.
Let's
like that.
preface because I'm sure we're gonna keep talking. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! If you don't want spoiled, just
I'm not even trying to like really get into it. So
I'm pissed.
So, no, I'm not even gonna like talk about the plot or anything. There's mention. It's like really early on in the movie. Doctor Strange has a dream, and then he meets somebody who's traveled through the multiverse, and he said, "I saw you in a dream," and she said, dreams aren't real. When you're dreaming, you're actually looking at yourself in another universe." And so one guy's like, "What about to go? So me running away naked from a clown?" And she's like, "Yeah, that probably happened in another universe somewhere."
dude, I said that
That-
stoned.
That fucked with me. I was like,
I said it last
yo.
week. Then my multiverse version of me is just getting laid
Dude,
a lot.
dude, I literally said that stoned in an episode in like 2020. I remember saying that,
Yeah.
and then now all this shit is just
You've
weirding
been
me
on
out.
the dream
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
for a long
I'm
time.
telling you, man.
Yeah.
Like it makes
No,
sense.
he has.
We
Talked
seriously
about it on
have.
here.
That's amazing, dude.
It's real funny. Like if you go back in our catalog of episodes, like we have a lot of like real introspective stoner episodes
Yeah.
where we're just like going off the deep end
Yeah.
about weird shit.
It's the best,
Dude,
But I like those episodes. I like the conspiracy theory type shit.
I want to.
too.
I just saw something cool. Fans are awesome, but they suck at the same time because they
Fact.
can rip everything.
Yeah.
But they dive into everything and just find the smallest details and shit. So the whole thing with the dreams, I saw someone take that and then add the scene from Infinity War where Iron Man's talking to Pepper about, I had a dream that we had a kid. It was so real. Her name was Morgan. And then that's what actually happens. I'm like, that's so sick.
That
'Cause,
is
like,
sick.
Hey, that's true.
I didn't think
it's
about
like,
that.
man, his multiversal self had a kid named Morgan, and then he had a kid and named it Morgan. Like, that's so cool. I just love
Dude,
when people.
that shit's
I
trippy,
love when people
man.
dive deep
It's
into
it's
it.
trippy to think about.
Well, here's what I'll say. If we're not gonna spoil plots or
I
anything,
do love how there are people like us who are like, yo, religion, fuck you, but like, yo, there are like 60 universes out there. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
belief system is all fucked. But like,
Oh.
That's so
my
true.
thing
That's so
thing
true.
with religion is I was raised Catholic, but like I saw somebody talk about it is I don't give a fuck if you're religious. You know, I'll fight for your rights to be religious. You have the right to do that, but I don't have to live my life because you're living your life based on some fucking book.
Amen.
Well, yeah. So like,
fuck
I agree.
you.
I'm gonna
No.
have to say everybody feels that way in this
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
Well,
But
bro,
like
fuck
the video of the guys playing the guitar and shit on the plane and like singing church songs.
Dude.
yeah.
Oh my god.
I would have freaked out.
I would have too.
There are some people with their masks on, just like standing there. I mean, I blare music or I watch movies. Like I watched World of Worlds on the way over here. Fucking awesome.
Well, the thing with me is like
Fuck that shit.
I'm speaking for myself. 100%. I believe in spirits. I believe in like heaven, afterlife, God. But like the whole like religion thing is where it's really conflicting to me because like everything, we get taught like the golden rule and shit when we're kids, like treat everyone how you want to be treated and shit.
Yo,
Religion can be some of the most judgmental people.
without a doubt.
And I'm like, that's where it's like, what
And,
are
yo,
we?
30
Yeah.
bucks says the golden rule was probably from some civil rights activist that
Yeah.
some white dude took and
But-
was like, Jesus
No,
said
but
this.
my point being, it's like
fucking bitch, get the fuck out of here.
they preach in religion like, don't sin, like everyone love everyone, but
but then there's also
No, I
but
mean,
like religious people like judge the fuck out of people.
let's get actually real about it. Like Catholics, like you gay people
Yeah,
are
like-
condemned to hell. Like let's not sugarcoat it. We know Catholicism.
Yeah, it's weird.
We all grew up with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Which
and then
my
that's
mom-
where I'm like,
That's why I was asked. My first episode here, we were talking about St. Mike's and throwback. I was literally asked not to return to St. Mike's. They said it's best if Ted goes elsewhere. My dad was so proud. He was like, "Yes, we're
Hell
done
yeah.
with Catholic school." But yeah, dude, like, so kind of going off what you were saying, I identify. Fuck me. I say I'm agnostic, meaning I'm like you. I believe spirits, heaven, hell, whatever. I believe that there is the possibility that all that exists. I'm not gonna know while I'm alive.
yeah.
So
Agreed.
why waste my time trying to preach that
Yeah.
and follow a set of rules that are outdated as fuck?
Yeah.
But I
And-
also think a big problem now though is like us having this conversation, all knowing each other. That's great. Like
Yeah.
we should be able to talk about this stuff. But somebody that lives across the street or in another city trying to come to me and talk to me about this stuff and tell me about their life, it's like, dude, I don't even know you. I don't need to listen to you preach that I should do this or do that. Listen, I might think that way, but let's talk about like the score from the baseball game last night.
yeah.
Stuff that's actually happening in
also-
real life.
It's like an opinion. It's like if you come to me and you say Attack of the Clones is the greatest Star Wars movie ever, and you're wrong if you think otherwise, I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself. That's like the same thing. It's like you're saying that because of this, I have to agree with you.
You want to know
Fuck
something
off.
real shitty and it's become eye opening in the last like month and a half. Let me preface it by saying like I don't know what I believe in. Truly,
That's completely fair though.
That's fair.
That's a real
I hear nothing but facts.
What
Yeah.
I believe in is like I just try to live my life like I don't want to treat people like shit, and I don't want to be treated like shit,
Yeah.
and like I just try to do good things or whatever, even if they're just little things. Like I don't. It basically the golden rule, like treat others how you want to be treated. Yeah, I've treated people poorly sometimes because they're fucking pricks.
Well, yeah, we've all made.
But
this-
we've all, but like,
Yeah,
but that's
we've
just
all-
me.
yeah.
I don't. It's hard to box myself into something. I
it's-
just
it's-
try to be the best person I can be.
which
Yep.
is
Yeah,
how you
I
should be. And it's
yeah.
like so being out in LA when you're around a lot of like woke liberals
woke
and
culture.
very,
Liberal
like,
cucks.
very very woke culture. And I'm not liberal, I'm not conservative. I'm like I consider myself an independent.
Yeah.
I
always
don't
have.
even know what
Same.
those words mean, dude. I don't even
Exactly.
understand
I
what
think
they
there
mean.
are certain things that this side does that's good, but then like socially, I'm for everybody to be able to have whatever the fuck they want, call
Right.
themselves whatever. I don't give a fuck. Don't throw it on me because I don't care. Like, do you?
Yes,
Everyone should be able to
exactly.
do themselves. So
Thank you.
socially, I'm like liberal. Do whatever the fuck you want. But one thing that's like I've always thought about. I don't know if I said this on here before, but like
Fuck it, just run it back if you did.
that's what I'm saying. So if like how do I say it? Like if you were gay and you were a fucking asshole and I don't like you, people are like, you don't like him because he's fucking gay? I'm like, no, I don't like him because he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I have no right to judge you on your sexuality, whether or not you like 3 dicks up your ass or you're only into women or you like horses or something like that.
Yeah.
I have no right to hate you like that. But if you're an asshole, I'm like, yeah, he's a dick. I don't want to I don't want to associate with him because he's a dick. Yeah. And I hate how there's this like shield around them that they can't like be discarded that way or discouraged for being pretentious assholes. Like
Key and Peele did a great skit on this exact thing.
Which one?
Where they're like 2 cubicle mates, and the one's like flamingly gay.
Yeah.
And the other guy just looks like a normal guy. And the flamingly gay one keeps bringing stuff up, and he's like, "Oh, well, you hate it. You don't like because I'm gay and blah 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 blah." And then it turns out, like 5 minutes later, the normal looking dude, like his boyfriend, comes walking in.
Yeah.
And they leave together, and the guy the skit ends with the flamingly gay guy. He's like, "Oh, I'm the asshole."
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's literally
It's
exactly what that is.
And not everyone's like that, but there are people who have this kind of level of arrogance that they think they can float around with because they're now in a culture that is perceived to be untouchable. Like one of my really good friends out in LA, well, he just moved. He's an openly gay man, and he does not like flaunt his shit in a way that's like, I'm better than you because I feel guarded and nobody can touch me. Anything like that. He's just like, I do my thing, you do yours. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. My roommate is fucking an openly like bisexual guy, and like we don't give a fuck. Like, do you? Like, we don't care. He doesn't run around. When he came out to me, he was like, listen, I like guys and I like girls. I've hooked up with both. I'm not gonna put my fucking pronouns in my page. I'm not gonna float around like a fucking rainbow flag. I just don't do that. Like, do you? And like, I'm like, great. Yeah. I'm not gonna say otherwise.
Really, honestly, it doesn't.
It's easy as that. Easy.
It's
really
literally like Chappelle's latest stand-up where people say he attacked the trans community. He was like, no. He was like, you guys shouldn't be untouchable because nobody else is.
Yeah.
We can make fun of everybody.
And that's what's wild
You
about
can
that.
make fun of everything.
Yeah.
Because his best friend who
except redheads
died.
I don't play that shit.
his best friend like committed suicide
Yeah,
or
he was
whatever.
trans,
and it was trans. And that's what the whole thing was about. No, I'm with you. I just think it's more of people have lost touch and they don't know how to just generally try to understand people anymore. It's like you show up somewhere. For example, people come to West Virginia and the first thing they probably think is that we're all Republican redneck fucks.
Oh, dude, the looks I get.
And that's probably it. But in reality, it's like, I'm just a redneck. I'm not
even a redneck, and I'm from here.
It's stuff that's just like it's taught and learned over time with individuals. Like
for sure.
It's like you
People get brainwashed at a young
you get
age,
indoctrinated
like
and
from
brainwashed.
school and shit.
There's people like us that like had the mindset to like not believe everything you're told, or else we probably wouldn't be where we are. We'd be a lot different. I mean, we all, like you said, grew up Catholic, but here we are.
Yeah,
but like it's really
definitely how you're
scary.
raised.
These people is something I wanted to bring up like 5 minutes ago. But like my fiance, she has a new job. She works for the city now. Like she runs Center Market. The people that come in to her office, I can't repeat any of the stuff that's said because it's
bad.
It's beyond what you like. It's just ridiculous.
In what way?
In what
like
way?
religious,
They're mean.
religious, and like
Racist.
bashing religious, racist. I can't even believe it. I can't fathom that these people take the time out of their day to go to the city manager or Center Market manager's office and spew this shit.
And moreover,
Because I'm like, what agenda does it push? What are you trying to accomplish?
And that you think like you're in West Virginia again, so like everyone feels the same way. So I could
Dude,
say whatever
everyone-
fucked up. And you never believe that. Even in Wheeling, you hear so much shit just walking down the street. People are like, "Oh yeah, can you believe this?" It's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Well, that's what's awkward for me now. You might have run into it. I don't know, but now West Virginia, there's a very diverse community of like gas station and vape owners. It's not all just white people anymore. It's like Indian families, like white people, like
We're not just white.
Yeah,
They
we're
are
not just
vape
white
owners.
anymore.
Put that on the
They're
billboard.
vapors.
dude. It's so, but
West Virginia had a bunch of vapors come in and colonize.
But hold on. So I go to some stores in the middle of bumfuck West Virginia, and I go in there, and they're just white people with no teeth throwing words that I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, I don't even. You just said that just to say that word. Like we're not even talking about this.
Yeah,
and you just
I know.
went out of your way to say these specific words that. Dude, I was just asking you where you get your stuff from. Like, I don't care
Bro,
about.
Isn't it the most awkward feeling in the world when somebody starts saying stuff to you, just assuming that you have the same beliefs?
yeah.
It's weird.
You're like,
Well, they look at us and they're like, "You're from West Virginia and you're white, so you
Yeah,
think the same
you're
way as
kinda
I do."
just like
They do it to me all the time,
You
I'm like-
get this weird, awkward feeling,
Like-
and you're just like,
dude.
okay.
Yeah. No, but you know what's
It
funny
makes me
about what you're
freeze.
saying? No, I can't generalize, but I kind of can. Like those kind of people that'll say shit, ignorant shit like that are like the same people within the same breath will start like Bible pushing.
100%.
That's
Yeah.
what it is. That's what I'm saying.
It's like, dude, you
There
can't.
is a correlation there.
You can't like be racist and all this fucking shit and claim like you're a Catholic and going to heaven. No, that's not how it's gonna work. I
Yeah,
hate to
there's-
tell you,
there-
on
there-
Judgment Day, God's
a-
gonna be like, "You're a fucking
Yeah,
dickhead."
You're
Like-
you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Bro, that's why like what's going on with the Roe v. Wade shit.
It's
They're trying to
crazy,
take it away.
bro.
Dude, guaranteed half those motherfuckers who are voting in favor are doing it because of their Christian beliefs.
Yeah.
Which is like, bro, you're following a book that says how people can live their lives. Like ultimately, I will not like speak on the matter because I have no right to speak on the matter. I
Yeah.
will never carry.
We're
a child.
dudes, bro.
I will never carry. A child.
Like, we don't know.
Fuck no.
We
dude.
don't know what I don't understand any of that.
Hell
who,
no.
who am I to sit here and be like, that's wrong, you should never. Dude, I don't have to deal with any of these issues.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
It's
bro?
weird.
It's weird, but like I at the same time, I don't want to be silent about it. I don't know. Like I haven't like
No,
openly
not-
posted
not
shit.
Oh,
be
I'm not
silent.
talking about
but
being
I think
silent.
it
Yeah.
is. I
horrible.
what I don't understand is, again, something I just said a few minutes ago. I think when I think of these weird things that happen like this, I try to think, what agenda is this pushing? Who is it benefiting? I can't figure it out.
No, yeah.
That's why.
Why as a white man politician or whatever do
Yeah.
you care if a woman has a baby or not?
Well, here's my.
That's why. Sorry, and
Mhm.
it's like, isn't that more like government? Like you can't do that. I don't understand.
It's so ass
Isn't that,
backwards
like,
because when you
against
think
the
about the
Republican
government
ideal?
gains from healthcare, and now you're going to take away a sector of it for I don't understand the reasoning.
Well, here,
You know what I mean?
I'll
There's
go,
so
I'll
many
go here
counter
for a second.
arguments.
I'll go here for a second.
We don't normally get like this,
Sorry.
but like
we-
I
nah,
do
we're-
want to
we're in it.
discuss it.
We
We're
have
in
this
it.
we have this left side right now that's all in charge, and all we have to fucking hear about everything is woke, progressive, do this. Everybody should be able to live their life. Everybody should be able to do this, which again, I agree with. I'm not saying I disagree with that. And then these same people that are in charge, the same people that everybody voted for because they were looking for a different America and thought things were going to change. These people we voted for now are literally trying to take us back to this has been a law since the 70s. So you're literally preaching progressive woke ideology shit, but you're going to try to take away a human right from a woman?
Yeah.
Like when
Well,
no
this-
women
yeah,
are
but you're, I don't mean to interject with you, but I think you got it backwards a little bit. I see what you're saying. The people you're the
Hold
the,
on,
Su-
no,
the-
I-
no, the Supreme Court is mostly Republican, so it's not the same. It's not the
Yeah,
woke
'cause
left.
Yeah. Even though
I get what you're saying. That's who was voted in, like to as in the presidency.
but ultimately
but most people that are in the Supreme Court that are passing these laws were appointed by Trump.
which is fine,
So,
but
it's
doesn't the
5 to
president
4,
the
right?
president
Yeah.
should have the final say?
He
though,
should.
correct?
I agree. And he came out with a statement, whatever, saying he doesn't condone this. But at
well,
the
now
same
it's 25 states versus 25 states.
yeah,
pretty
so
much,
it's
like,
like
down the
split.
middle.
But see, like even that, like I know the Republican side's like the dominant side in the House and all of that shit, but the ones that are quote unquote in charge and got voted in are the ones that are progressive woke. Like that's why politics will never make sense.
It
to
doesn't
me.
make sense to me. I agree, but that's the system.
100%.
Like how much power does the president actually have?
Exactly.
Dude,
Oh, and-
fucking
and
old
now-
ass Biden.
And now doesn't this open the door for like a lot of stuff? Because the whole thing is like it's not in the Constitution to do basically what Trump did, appoint all these justices, what he
Right.
never before.
But he's playing chess.
But it's
You know
it's
what I mean?
also like there's nothing in the Constitution that you can't like add more seats, right? Or like pack, or, you know what I mean?
It's just
So it's like everyone's gonna break these so-called rules until it's like there's no rules at all.
Exactly.
Politics is like the biggest mind fuck to
Dude,
me because like
I have no idea.
no,
about
me
anything.
I really
I
don't.
really don't.
I was just talking. What did I text you? What did I text you guys earlier? I said Roe v. I was like the people trying to overturn Roe v. Wade. I was like,
Yeah.
I said clearly they get no pussy.
Well, here, so this is what I want to say.
Because when I hook up with a girl, I want to know that she's gonna have an abortion.
Yeah,
if she
I
gets
just want to
pregnant.
say.
I am not financially stable to
So
have a child.
I'm
so
not.
like,
I'm not.
all for it.
And how
hey,
many
fuckers,
I'm
let
so
me fucking
sorry.
say something. I am not up to speed on like the political shit, any of
So
it.
Joe Biden is president.
No, okay, thank you. No, but like what we're talking about, I haven't been.
Yeah,
fu-
yeah, I got
I
you.
never have. I've never been a news guy or a politics guy.
I fucking hate
I've
it. I
been
hate
like
the
a
news.
principal guy
The
in
news
my
keeps
head.
you living in
Same.
fear.
I'm a
Yes,
principal
I
guy.
Absolutely agree.
But here's my thing. In my opinion, the people who are like trying to make it so they can't have abortions or whatever it is, that in my opinion, listen, I'm not pro like let's kill babies, but like that's not what I'm saying. But I just think it is dangerously arrogant for people to try to take away that from a woman. In my
Amen.
opinion, it's like in my opinion, it's like a power thing. It's like
it is. And
it's so weird.
that's
to me.
the
It is.
disgusting thing about it. It
It's-
just
yeah.
seems like a power trip,
Yeah.
and that's what I go back to what I'm saying. It seems like a power trip, and I don't understand the benefit of it. Like I don't understand if you're these politicians sitting in a room and you're like, we should overturn this. What benefit does that give them?
I don't know.
truly can't understand it.
And I saw a tweet that nailed it on the head. It's like if this was, let's shift it from women to men. If they were trying to enforce a law where men after whatever age had to get a vasectomy,
It would
And-
never fly.
and we had to get
Yeah.
a vasectomy
it would
until
never
we wanted
fly.
to have a kid,
It would never fly.
it would
No.
it wouldn't
would
even make
never.
it anyway.
I saw today that like Louisiana, because a lot of this stuff can be passed state by state. Louisiana is trying to make IUDs illegal.
I saw that, which is crazy.
and that's crazy to me because like for some girls, like birth control is a necessary like health thing that they need because like their period or whatever is so painful or whatever. It causes like hormone disbalance or like all these different things that I truly I don't think these people that are making these votes even know anything about that.
no,
Do some research.
Going back to the vasectomy thing, it's reversible.
Yeah, 100% reversible.
but the thing is though,
There
is
you
like,
go.
Imagine them trying to implement that as a law for men that we had to do.
I did
it.
see that. It was like when their kids give them a vasectomy and when they're ready to have a child or they believe
Reverse
so, they
it.
reverse it.
Which I get that, but at the same time, it's like
I know what
there
you're
would
saying.
there would
Yeah,
never
I have
be
a
a
question.
law.
This is going to get
There would
weird.
never be a law
Yeah.
for men
Yeah.
in that
I
way.
No, I agree. When you have a vasectomy, do you just dry cum?
No, you
They're
still
blanks,
no,
right?
No, you still produce cum, but there's like
But there's no eggs in it.
Yeah, they're
Or
blanks.
sperm in it.
Blanks.
I'm sorry. There's
We're
no
shoot- we're
there's
shooting
no,
blanks.
there's no
What is that
sperm
al-
in it.
What's that Always Sunny episode where he's like, yeah, you shoot up sperm and the sperm goes and eats the egg.
Yeah. Okay, so
That's what that is.
I'll-
You like I was watching who was it? Segura got a vasectomy. And they were talking about
Yes.
so like once you're done with puberty, you'll never dry cum again.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know any like I don't know how many 80-year-olds are like still
Dry cum.
busting out.
Dry
like,
cumming
yeah.
would be pretty cool. I
Dust.
can't
Dust,
say.
yeah, dust
little-
cum.
little- Or what if it's like one of those like old cartoons where the car like runs out of gas?
Yeah,
or, like,
exactly.
shakes,
Dude,
and then
literally.
it's just, like, one little like black smoke.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, literally,
Little-
like
little
I'm
puff.
in here laughing because I stand with my rant so hard, and I think that's the problem is because politics makes so much. They don't make sense at all. To where like now I'm sitting back thinking about what you said. It's like, well, duh, because that the one other side's in charge. But that's the whole problem. That's the whole issue
It-
right
it
there.
is.
The
like-
party system does nothing but divide this
Dude,
country
right?
even more.
Yeah,
We're the
we've-
only fucking
But it's a
country that
huge
does
money
it.
maker.
and we've
right?
talked-
Exactly.
And we've
So-
talked
so
about
with
that
religions,
before.
though.
Yeah.
We've talked about that before. How like it makes
televangelists.
no
It's
sense to like
crazy.
divide your country every
No
4
sense.
years.
It makes
know what I
no
mean?
sense.
It really is just ass backwards. Literally every 4 years we split our country in two, and look at the shit that it causes:
And in-
riots, deaths.
And in reality, it's every 2 years because
Yeah.
preliminary
Yeah,
stuff starts.
you're right.
Like I got a fucking sign outside of my house. Shout out Don Advance. Vote for city, county, or whatever, circuit clerk or whatever. But
Whatever the sign says, just read it.
This could be like get Diane to clown school. Signs on the front.
But again, that's just it's always in our face.
And I feel like it hasn't left in how many years now? What, 10 years almost? Or
it's
whatever?
everybody's always ready for the next vote. It's like watch a sporting event or something.
Drink
Go
a
to a
fucking
bar.
beer.
I'm just
Dude, yeah.
I'm just not that type of person. Like I will never get worked up enough to start like
Fuck no.
spewing my political beliefs on
literally,
Twitter and
I
stuff.
would
Like
never.
people
I
getting
hate talking
into
about
people.
politics.
So do I. And honestly, we should change up the subject.
Yeah, let's
but, like,
talk
I just
about
want to make fun.
But
of
I just-
people.
the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer.
Yeah, that was fine.
How
We can
about
talk
that?
Fire.